Okay, in this video I'm going to talk about emotional and verbal abuse. And I know some people see them as the same, some people will see this as the same. Also emotional abuse, they also include, or other words for it is terms for it, psychological abuse, mental abuse. But there is a difference, but I'm not going to go over that difference. I think verbal abuse leads to emotional abuse, and yeah, anyway. Okay, now in emotional abuse or psychological or mental abuse, you're putting trauma on somebody, or somebody's putting trauma on you, whatever is the case. In emotional trauma. Now, I said I wasn't going to do the difference, but in verbal abuse, I'm still going to. Verbal abuse is more like, when somebody calls you some kind of name, that they shouldn't be calling you. That's just one example. I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of examples. But I'm going to use that one as an example. Somebody calls you something or labels you something, and it causes you, that's the verbal, it causes you some kind of emotional trauma. Okay, the sun's probably going to make my camera go in and out of focus, but let's just get through it. Let me use this as an example. Years ago, whenever, on my original channel, I did this video about when people call you sweetie. Okay, now some people will say that's just simply a southern thing that people don't like when somebody calls them sweetie. And I disagree, but I am Texan. I think that it's a way, to some, of being I know I'm going to say this word wrong, infantilized. That somebody's doing to them is, let's see if I say it right, infantilization. Okay, that's making them seem younger than what they are. Now that's one of them, but the other one is when they want to point out that they see you as inferior to them, and it could be an age thing, that they're a little older and they want to make sure you're well aware that they are older. To me, it's dominance. To me, it's control. Okay, it's not control, but it's dominance. They want to show their dominance, that they are somehow better. You're the lesser person, and so they're going to call you something like sweetie or babe or sugar, when no, Now I did that video, and sure enough, some people kept doing it, calling me sweetie, on purpose. And it wasn't years ago, back in the 90s. My thing was I couldn't stand it when people, and it was a thing people were doing, calling me, especially babe. I hated that. I hated it with a passion. And I was in that big group, and they just loved, some of them, not very many, but some loved just to call me babe because they knew it annoyed me. That is abuse, okay? When somebody says, no, do not call me that. When somebody says no, it means no. Plain and simple. No means no. And I know a lot of people think there's only one thing. No. No means no. When somebody says, do not call me that, do not speak to me in that way, do not say those kinds of things to me, then no means no. And this is my opinion. When somebody thinks they can continue to do it, they're not joking. Jokes don't go like that. Okay? Although some would say they do. No. You're being abusive. That's a power and control game. And of course, people are going to fight and say, hey, it's my freedom of speech and everything like that. They're going to go on that. No, I've done a video about that, so I don't want to go too deep into that. But what it is, you're saying, I have the freedom to abuse you if I want to. Okay? In this kind of situation, yeah, that's what you're saying. It's a power, control, dominance. It's abuse. Plain and simple. Abuse. Now, if you are a person who you say, it's common for you to say that, call somebody babe, or something like that. And it's not somebody, honey, like a friend of mine really got ticked off when a woman, wait staff kept calling her honey. Oh, she got ticked off. But because she wasn't her honey, you know. Anyway, and it is, you know, that's how it's seen. Dominance. Okay, but if you're a person who respects that, if you've ever been through it, somebody, no matter, you know, somebody, they're overstepping your boundaries. They're stepping over your boundaries. They are just knocking your boundaries down by doing this. If your boundary is, your line in the sand is, no, you will not call me babe or sugar or honey or, you know, sweetie, honey pot, whatever. And you step over, you're stepping over their boundaries. Now, if you're a person who respects boundaries, there is the big term, boundaries. You're a person who respects them. Oops, someone's going to mess that up, right? If you're a person who respects boundaries, respect for other people, you won't do that. You won't fight and say, I have a freedom of speech, so I can call you that if I want. You won't do that. If you're not abusive, you won't do that. You respect the person. You'll think to yourself, maybe that's a trigger. Even if you don't feel like it's a big deal, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be this one. You don't feel it's that big of a thing. You might think, well, that's got to be a trigger for that person. You know, an educated, smart, intelligent, caring, loving person would see that. That's that person's boundary. It's their line in the sand. I should not step over it. Okay, now that is emotional, verbal abuse combined. Okay, yeah. And I could give, you know, some would say much harsher example. I don't think I need to. I think I don't want to, you know, really trigger people. But yeah, you can take that and expand it to, you know, whatever it is, of course. You know, and you know to read the disclaimer. I'm not a healthcare professional provider and all that. But yeah. Okay. And now, this of emotional abuse doesn't just have, you know, isn't just that kind of thing. And I think everybody knows that. Emotional and verbal abuse have many more examples. There's no way I can give all the examples in one video, you know. But speaking of, I'm going to wrap this video up. If you want to subscribe, click the circles that should be coming up. If you want to watch another video on this channel, click one of the rectangles. If you want to like, share, comment, what else? Like, share, comment. Feel free to do so. I'll talk to you later.